I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Yes, yes, great. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Chalo. So, from today, we are going to start a new chapter, right? Hydrocarbon we already completed. So, from today class, we are going to start a mole concept, right? I'm good. Everyone, chalo. So from today we are going to start a very important chapter that is mole concept, right? तो बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है ये मोल कॉन्सेप्ट. तो चलो देखते हैं फटाफट what thing we need to cover in this chapter in mole concept. And it's many questions were directly coming from this chapter. Either you're talking about the J examination or NEET examination. In every examination you have a question from mole concept, right? So this is a very important chapter for the examination point of view एज वेल एज योर सीबीएसई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू एज वेल. ठीक है. तो ये मूल कॉन्सेप्ट हमारा बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद दिस चैप्टर. Yes. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to see that is the mole concept and the percentage composition, right? So first we are trying to cover the mole concept, and then we are also trying to cover the percentage composition. That how will you find the percentage composition of the different elements, right? चलो तो देखते हैं फटाफट. So, what are the learning objective of today class? First, we are going to see the mole, Avogadro number, molecular mass, percentage composition, empirical and the molecular formula. So, why mole? Why we use mole? ठीक है, हम मोल क्यों यूज करते हैं? Is there any specific reason? So basically, the atoms and molecules are extremely small in size, right? So the atoms molecules are very small in size. Their numbers in even a small amount of any substance is really a very large, right? So their numbers in ever small amount. कोई बोले कि 1 ग्राम मेरे पास सोडियम है. So in 1 gram sodium also contain a large, or we say many number of atoms and molecules. So their number in even a small amount of any substance is rarely very large, right? So what we do. So what we do basically, that is, for example, in one drop of water also now we have 1.67 into 10 ki power 22 21 water molecules. So you can just imagine that how big the number is, right? So इतने सारे numbers को ना बोलना बार बार कि one drop of water contain this into 10 ki power 21 water molecule is quite hectic job, right? So we are introducing a mole concept basically. For example, everyone know when we use dozen, we both say na we have to buy banana, 1 dozen banana, right? So 1 dozen banana means what? That is the set of 12. सो 1 दर्जन मतलब कितना हो गया? सेट ऑफ 12. सिमिलरली तो यहाँ पे तो बहुत बड़े बड़े आइटम्स हैं, तो उनको हमने क्या किया कि एक स्मॉल ड्रॉप, स्मॉल 1 ग्राम मिलीग्राम के अंदर भी बहुत सारे आइटम्स हैं, तो उनको हमने अच्छे से बोलने के लिए, ताकि हम उसको क्या कर सकें, एक जगह पे उसको लिख सकें, यूज कर सकें, अच्छे से सिंप्लीफाई कर सकें. सो वी यूजिंग द मोल कॉन्सेप्ट बेसिकली. ठीक है. तो ध्यान से समझना. देखो नेक्स्ट. So it's a very hectic job. So to deal with the such large number, we invented mole. So इस large number को deal करने के लिए हमने क्या invent किया? We invented mole. So mole is just a number as a dozen, right? जैसे एक दर्जन नंबर होता है, उसी तरीके से मोल भी क्या है? मोल भी एक हम लोगों का बस नंबर ही है. So mole is also a number just like a dozen. Okay. For example, एक दर्जन में 12 होते हैं. For example, century. 100 को क्या बोलते हैं? सेंचुरी, राइट? सिमिलरली अगर मैं बोलूं व्हाट इज एक मोल, सो उस तरीके से एक मोल मतलब क्या हो गया? दैट इज 6.022 इंटू 10 to the power 23 एटम मॉलिक्यूल्स और आयन इज कॉल्ड 1 मोल. तो उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? 1 मोल. सो मोल इज जस्ट लाइक अ नंबर एज द दर्जन, सेंचुरी एंड मोल, राइट? सो दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मोल बेसिकली. सो आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन. ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ सबको कि वाई वी इंट्रोड्यूस मोल? हम्म. डन. चलो, यानी द अमाउंट ऑफ सब्सटेंस दैट कंटेन एज मेनी पार्टिकल एज देयर आर एटम्स इन एग्जैक्टली 12 ग्राम ऑफ 12 कार्बन आइसोटोप्स आर कॉल्ड 1 मोल, राइट? सो 1 मोल को कितना बोला हम लोगों ने? दैट इज द अमाउंट ऑफ सब्सटेंस, कि कोई भी अमाउंट ऑफ सब्सटेंस दैट कंटेन as many particle as there are atoms in exactly 12 gram of 12 सी आइसोटोप, राइट? दिस इज कॉल्ड 1 मोल। उसको हमने क्या बोला? दैट इज कॉल्ड 1 मोल। So we all know mass of one carbon atom is 1.999 into 10 raised to the power 23 gram. So number of carbon atom in 12 gram, carbon is 12 upon this, right? So अगर mass एक carbon atom का इतना है 1.99 into 10 raised to the power minus 23 gram, so the number of carbon atom in 12 gram of this is 12 upon 1.99, which comes out to be 6.022, और this number is also called as Avogadro number. तो इस नंबर को हम और किस नाम से जानते हैं? That is Avogadro number. So this number is known as Avogadro number, right? क्लियर है यहां तक? जल्दी बोलो एक बार। Is this clear to everyone? What is 1 mole? Hmm. Chalo. Now, entities in mole. That is 1 mole of N2 is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23 molecules of N2. Similarly, if someone asks, that is the 1 mole of carbon. So 1 mole of carbon is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of carbon. Right. So this is how we can actually write 1 mole. Similarly, 1 mole of ammonia, we can write as 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of ammonia. Right. So this is the way we'll write the mole. So this is the entities in mole basically, that is N2, C, NH3. So इस तरीके से हम लोग moles को लिख सकते हैं। Done? चलो। Now, for example, let's do some simple question here. So in this question, they are asking basically, just give me a second bit. Okay, okay. So sorry, so sorry. Okay, so they are asking in the three molecules of ethane, calculate the following: the number of moles of carbon atom. So we have the 3 moles of ethane, right? 3 moles of ethane means that is 3 moles of CH3, CH3 we have. So we all know that in 1 mole of ethane, they carry Avogadro number, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms or molecules, right? So similarly, इन द 1 मोल ऑफ इथेन कंटेन 2 मोल ऑफ कार्बन एटम। आपको साफ साफ दिख रहा है कि भाई फॉर्मूला क्या है, दैट इज सी एच थ्री एंड सी एच थ्री। This is the formula of ethane. So 1 mole of ethane, 1 mole of ethane contain 2 mole of carbon atom. So 3 mole of ethane will contain 6 mole of carbon atom. So 6 mole of carbon atom, and someone asks how many carbon atom they having. So just multiply 6 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Similarly, in 1 mole of ethane contains 6 mole of hydrogen. So 3 mole of ethane will contain 18 mole of hydrogen. Right. Now, in the next case, they are asking number of molecules of ethane. Number of molecules of ethane. So 1 mole of ethane contain this much molecules of ethane. So similarly, 3 mole of ethane will contain this much molecules of this. That is 18 into 10 की power 23. So किसने किसने सही बोला था? Yes, JNB Morbi, absolutely correct. 18 into 10 की power 23. Very good. प्रगति ने भी सही बोला है. Good. Very good. Right. So this is the correct answer we have. Good. Now, what is molar mass? So we using molar mass, in lots of calculation. बहुत सारी calculation है जहाँ पे हम molar mass को use करते हैं. So what is this molar mass? So the mass of 1 mole of substance in gram is called molar mass. Okay. So someone asked what is molar mass? तो just say the mass of 1 mole of a substance. कि कितना mass होता है 1 mole of substance का in gram is called its molar mass. तो उसी को हम लोग molar mass बोलते हैं. Right. Now, example, we have the molar mass of water that is equal to 18. तो molar mass of water कितना होता है हमारे पास is equal to 18. Similarly, molar mass of sodium chloride we have 58.5. Right. How will you calculate molar mass? We know now water is made up of oxygen and hydrogen. So molecular mass of hydrogen is 1 and molecular mass of oxygen is 16. So 16 plus 2, that comes out to be 18. Similarly, the molar mass of sodium chloride is 58.5. What is the formula of sodium chloride? NaCl. So the molecular mass of Na is 23 and Cl is 35.5. So on adding, we get 58.5. So the mass of 1 mole of substance in gram is called molar mass. तो अगर तुमसे कोई पूछता है कि मोलर मास किसको बोलते हो तो क्या बोलोगे? द मास ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ सब्सटेंस. कि मास 1 मोल सब्सटेंस का कितना होगा इन ग्राम इज कॉल्ड molar mass. Done? Chalo. Now, so I hope this is a very simple thing. Everyone, just calculate. Fatabat. Within 1 minute, you all need to calculate this. Fatabat. Molar mass of H2O, molar mass of CO2, molar mass of CH4. First, everyone. Yes, H2O 18, CO2 44. And what about CH4, beta? CH4. Sir, CH4 is 16. Very good. Well done. Right. So सबने सही निकाला है. Very good. Very good. ठीक है. Good. Now the next question is, it's also a very important question. Calculate the number of oxygen atoms in 4.4 gram of CO2. Right. 4.4 gram of CO2. You have to calculate the number of oxygen atom in this. कैसे निकलेगा? Calculate the number of oxygen atom in 4.4 gram of CO2. How will you calculate? ओके. ओके, किसी ने निकाला है? मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ बेटा. ओके, 0.1 mole GNV more B. Okay, let me explain this. So we know that's a very simple thing. That is, in this they are asking calculate the number of oxygen atoms in 4.4 gram of CO2. So number of moles of CO2 पहले निकाल लो. So number of moles of CO2 कितना हो जाएगा? Mass upon molecular mass. So given mass is 4.4 gram, molecular mass is 44 gram. So this is the number of moles of CO2, right? 0.1 mole. But what they are asking calculate the number of oxygen atom. So 1 mole of CO2 contain 2 mole of oxygen atom. So that is 2 into this. So 2 into this कर दो तो answer comes out to be this one. So अब देखो, तो 1 mole of CO2 contain 2 mole of oxygen atom. So 0.1 mole of CO2. 1 mole of CO2 में 2 मोल थे, तो 0.1 मोल में कितने होंगे? दैट इज 2 इंटू 0.1 मोल इंटू दिस. तो आंसर कितना आ गया निकल के? दैट इज 12.044 इंटू 10 की पावर 22 एटम्स ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. सो दिस इज द करेक्ट आंसर, राइट? सॉरी सर, कोई बात नहीं बेटा, इट्स ओके. तो आपने ये तो सही निकाला था, वेरी गुड. सो दिस इज द नंबर ऑफ मोल्स ऑफ CO2. इन दिस दे आर आस्किंग कि यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट द नंबर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एटम्स. सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन कैलकुलेट द नंबर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एटम्स. ठीक है, डन. नाउ the next is percentage composition, empirical and molecular formula. So let's see how will you find the empirical and molecular formula as well as the percentage composition, right? So ये क्या है सब देख के बताओ. व्हाट इज दिस कॉल्ड? दिस इज कॉल्ड ब्लू विट्रॉयल, राइट? क्या बोलते हैं इसको? ब्लू विट्रॉयल, राइट? कॉपर सल्फेट डॉट 5H2O. So in copper sulfate 5H2O we have what kind of elements present? So we have a different kinds of element in this. For example, we have one copper is present, sulfur is present, oxygen is present, as well as hydrogen is present, right? Now if someone asks कैन यू टेल मी द परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन, कि कितना कितना परसेंट कौन कौन प्रेजेंट है इसमें? सो द परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन कम्स इनटू द पिक्चर. दैट इज इट टेल अस अबाउट द परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ द एलिमेंट, कि कितना परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन हर एलिमेंट का होने वाला है. सो व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर फाइंडिंग द परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन? सो द मास परसेंटेज ऑफ एन एलिमेंट इज इक्वल टू mass of that element in the compound divided by molar mass of the compound multiply by 100, right? So this is how we can actually calculate the percentage composition. What formula we are using? That is a mass percentage of an element is equal to mass of that element in the compound divided by molar mass of the compound into 100, right? For example, let's calculate the mass percentage of copper in copper sulfate dot 5H2O. So the molecular mass of the copper is 63.5 and the molar mass of the whole compound is 249.5 and the percentage 100. So the value comes out to be 25.45%. So the mass percentage of copper in copper sulfates comes out to be 25.45%. Similarly, let's calculate the mass percentage of sulfur. So the molecular mass of sulfur is 32 and the molecular mass of the compound is equal to 249.5, right? How much? 249.5 into 100. So it comes out to be 12.82%. So it comes out to be 12.82%. So 12.82% इसका correct answer हो जाएगा. Next, that is the mass percentage of oxygen in copper sulfate dot 5H2O. So what is the mass percentage of oxygen in CuSO4 dot 5H2O? तो चलो देखते हैं mass percentage of oxygen in CuSO4 dot 5H2O. So we have mass of the solute that is 144, right? This is the mass of the solute 140. ऑक्सीजन का कितना हो गया? 144. कैसे आया 144? Can anyone tell? Because here we have how many oxygen we have? Total 4 oxygen here and 5 oxygen here. So total we have 9 oxygen. and the molecular mass of one oxygen is 16. So 9 into 16, right? So it comes out to be 144. So this is 144 gram. So this is 144. This is the molar mass of the compound, 249.5 multiply by 100. So its value comes out to be 57.72%, right? Now, the next is mass percentage of hydrogen in copper sulfate dot 5s2o. So what is the mass percentage of hydrogen? So how many hydrogen they have? 10 only. So 10 upon 249. So it comes out to be 0.4%. So maximum percentage kiska hai? That is oxygen ka 57.72%. Then comes copper, then sulfur, और सबसे minimum percentage किसका है? That is hydrogen, right? 4.01%. Done? Chalo. Now, the question is, calculate the mass percentage of each element in ammonia. Ammonia का फॉर्मूला मैं लिख देता हूँ NH3. Everyone, calculate करो. मास परसेंटेज ऑफ ईच एलिमेंट, दो ही तो एलिमेंट है, एक N और एक H. दोनों का मास परसेंटेज बताओ कितना आया. Everyone, need to calculate fast. Yes, everyone, आंसर आया. GNV मोरबी, नाइट्रोजन सर 82.3 है, हाइड्रोजन 18.7%. ओके. GNV मोरबी 17.6. व्हाट, हाइड्रोजन? ओके, अभी चेक करते हैं. चलो, प्रगति ने भी बताया है. गुड. एंड व्हाट अबाउट रेस्ट? यू आल्सो पार्टिसिपेट. ध्रुवी, ध्रुवी प्रजापति, नंदनी, संध्या, जय महालक्ष्मी, बेटा एवरीवन नीड टू पार्टिसिपेट, राइट? ओके. सो लेट्स सी द करेक्ट आंसर, किस किस का सही है. हम्म. So the molar mass of ammonia, we all know 17 gram, right? Molar mass of ammonia is 17 gram. Now, what is the mass percentage of nitrogen? Let's see. Dhruvi and 82.3, H 17.6. Okay. So the molar mass of ammonia is given 17 gram. Mass percentage of nitrogen is, that is nitrogen divided by total into 100. So nitrogen का 14 divided by 17 into 100. That is 82.35%. बिल्कुल सही. Now, the mass percentage of hydrogen is 3 upon 17 into 100. That is 17.65. तो किस किस का आंसर इस रेंज में आया था? यस, तो ध्रुवी का आया था 82.35, 17.6. वेरी गुड. प्रगति का आया था 17.8. ओके, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट पास में ही है, कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है, एरर नहीं है ज्यादा. एंड और किसने निकाला था? मोरबी 18.7. नो बेटा, 18.7 नहीं आएगा. दैट इज 17 पॉइंट, हाँ बाद में उसने कैलकुलेट किया है. 17.6. गुड. सो 17.6 इज द करेक्ट आंसर, राइट? चलो, वेरी गुड एवरीवन. सो दिस इज द परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन. ठीक है, ये हो गया परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन. नाउ, what is empirical formula? So the next topic is empirical formula. So basically empirical formula, it represent the, what does it represent? So it represent the simplest whole number ratio of the various atoms present in a compound. So it represent the simplest whole number ratio of the various atoms present in a compound. So देखते हैं फटाफट कि क्या है इसका कहानी पूरा. सो इम्पैरिकल फॉर्मूला तो ये बताता है कि सिंपलेस्ट होल नंबर रेशियो बताता है. तो बेसिकली इट रिप्रेजेंट द सिंपलेस्ट होल नंबर रेशियो ऑफ द वेरियस एटम. ठीक है, ऑफ द वेरियस एटम प्रेजेंट इन अ कंपाउंड. और मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला क्या बताता है? व्हाट इज मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला? तो it shows the exact number of different types of atoms present in a molecule of a compound. तो ये क्या शो करता है? तो it show the exact number of, right, ये शो करता है exact number of the different types of atoms present in a molecule of a compound, right? So this is about the molecular formula. यानी molecular formula tell us the exact number of different types of atoms, कितने अलग अलग atoms present है exactly. और empirical formula tell us only the simplest whole number ratio. अभी एग्जांपल से समझेंगे. So we can write molecular formula is equal to n into empirical formula. And how will you find small n? So this small n is equal to molecular mass upon empirical formula mass, right? So this n comes out to be molecular mass divided by empirical formula mass. So एक क्वेश्चन के थ्रू हम लोग समझते हैं, and it's a very very important question. This question is from the NCERT itself. तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है ये. सो इस क्वेश्चन में अ कंपाउंड कंटेन 4.07% हाइड्रोजन, 24.2% कार्बन एंड 71.65% क्लोरीन. इट्स मोलर मास इज गिवन 98.96 ग्राम. What are its empirical and molecular formulas? So they are asking कि now calculate what are its empirical and molecular formula. So first of all we need to calculate the empirical formula. So the first step, convert mass percentage into gram, assuming that 100 gram of the sample. Whenever the question is given in percentage wise now, like 4%, 3%, it means the total mass is 100, right? So the convert mass percentage into gram, assuming 100 gram sample. So hydrogen comes out to be 4.07 gram, carbon comes out to be 24.27 gram, chlorine comes out to be 71.65 gram, right? 71.65 gram. So these are the convert mass into grams. ठीक है, तो ये ग्राम में सारी वैल्यूज हैं, हाइड्रोजन, कार्बन एंड क्लोरीन का. नाउ स्टेप टू, convert this mass into mole, right? So you have to convert this into mole. So we know now what formula we are using to convert this. Basically mole is mass upon molecular mass, so we can easily calculate mole is mass, sorry, that is the mole is mass upon molecular mass. So hydrogen 4.07 divided by 1 comes out to be 4.04. Similarly, uh, yes, JNV Morbi ने निकाला है CH2Cl. Okay, beta, we'll check it, right? Now, the mole of carbon comes out to be 24.27 divided by 12. It comes out to be 2.021. Similarly, mole of chlorine is equal to 71.65 divided by 35.453. So it comes out to be 2.02, right? Now, these two are equal, right? ध्यान रखना, these two are equal. The third step, calculate. ओके प्रगति CH2Cl. ओके बेटा, अभी देखते हैं. सो इन द थर्ड स्टेप, कैलकुलेट द सिंपल होल नंबर मोलर रेशियो एंड डिटरमाइन इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला. सो हाइड्रोजन कितना आया है? हाइड्रोजन कम्स आउट टू बी 4.04. कार्बन कितना आया है? 2.02. एंड क्लोरीन कितना आया है? 2.02 अगेन. नाउ इसमें आपको क्या करना होता है? सेलेक्ट द स्मॉलेस्ट वैल्यू, राइट? सो आउट ऑफ दीज थ्री विच वन इज द स्मॉलेस्ट? दैट इज 2.021. तो उसको आप लो और सबको डिवाइड कर दो, तो इट्स कम्स आउट टू बी 211. सो द इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला कम्स आउट टू बी CH2Cl. तो दोनों ने बिल्कुल सही निकाला था, है ना? बोथ प्रगति एंड JNB मोरबी बिल्कुल करेक्ट निकाला आपने बेटा. सो दस द इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला कम्स आउट टू बी CH2Cl. सो CH2Cl इज द इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला. Now, step 4, writing the molecular formula. So we know molecular formula is nothing but n into empirical formula, right? So n into empirical formula is called molecular formula. So चलो देखते हैं. So empirical formula is equal to 12.01, राइट? पहले इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूले का मास निकाल लेते हैं, बिकॉज इसका हमें नीड पड़ेगा एन निकालने के लिए, ठीक है? सो एन का फॉर्मूला क्या होता था? मॉलिक्यूलर मास डिवाइडेड बाय इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला मास. तो इंपेरिकल फॉर्मूला मास निकाल लेते हैं. वी हैव अ कार्बन, 2 हाइड्रोजन, 1 क्लोरीन. सो 12 प्लस 2 प्लस 35.5, इट कम्स आउट टू बी 49.5 ग्राम. So this is the empirical formula pass, and molecular mass is already given in this question. That is 98.96. So 98.96 divided by 49.48 comes out to be 2. Now, what is molecular formula? N into empirical formula. So N comes out to be 2. So 2 into CH2Cl. So formula is C2 H4 and Cl2, right? So समझ आया सबको? Is this clear to everyone? Yes, Nandini, good. What about others? Clear है सभी को? Done? चलो. Yes, sir. Okay, बेटा. नेक्स्ट. सो इसी को हम लोग टेबुलर मेथड में भी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं, है ना? कई जगह बुकों में आपने देखा होगा, आप लोग भी ऐसे ही कैलकुलेट करते हो, है ना? स्कूल में भी ऐसे बोला जाता है, और ये काफी कन्वीनियंट मेथड है, राइट? इसको अगर से हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं पेपर में, आपको जब भी थ्योरी में लिखना होगा तो आप ऐसे ही कैलकुलेट करना, ठीक है? दिस इज द गुड वे टू सॉल्व दिस सच टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है? तो दिस इज कॉल्ड द टेबुलर मेथड. सबसे पहले हम एलिमेंट लिख लेंगे इन कंपाउंड, क्या क्या था. हाइड्रोजन था, कार्बन था एंड क्लोरीन था. फिर हम उसका परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन लिख लेंगे, दैट इज 4.07%, 24.27%, 71.65%. फिर हम लिख लेंगे उसका मॉलिक्यूलर मास, दैट इज 1.008, 12.01 एंड 35.45. नाउ फिर अगेन परसेंटेज कॉम्पोजिशन, 4.04 हो गया, दोनों को डिवाइड किया हमने तो ये मोलर मास गिवन है दोनों का, है ना? 4 गिवन है, 2 गिवन है, 2 गिवन है. सो ये हम लोग का पूरा मोलर मास हो गया. बस उसके बाद से मोलर रेशियो निकाला है, और फिर हम लोग का सिंपलेस्ट नंबर रेशियो आ गया है. ठीक है, चलो. अब एक यहाँ पे छोटा सा ट्विस्ट है. Let us assume here the value comes in the simple whole ratio, that is 211. What happen if this number is not in the whole number? For example, if the sum values comes out to be 1.2, 1.5, then what we do? So we need to multiply with such number that it become whole number, right? तो इसको whole number बनाना पड़ेगा. So अभी हम एक example लेंगे वैसा भी, तो तुम्हें और clear हो जाएगा. तो सबसे पहले जरा समरी देख लो फटाफट. सो व्हाट वी स्टडी टिल. So we study mole and Avogadro number. कि what is mole, what is Avogadro number, what is molar mass, how will you calculate percentage composition, how to find empirical formula, how to find molecular formula. We also, study the relationship between molecular and empirical formula. That is, molecular formula is nothing but n into empirical formula. And how will you find n? So n is equal to molar mass upon empirical formula mass. So you can solve questions from NCERT exercise. That is question number 1, question number 2, 3, 8, 10, 28, 30, 33, and 34. So these are the questions you can solve, right? So these questions are based upon the empirical formula, molecular formula, and all these things. Done? यहाँ तक किसी को डाउट है बताओ. एनीवन? कोई भी डाउट यहाँ तक? नो डाउट सर. गुड. चलो. So the next is balancing stoichiometry and limiting reagent of a chemical equation. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सा देखते हैं कि किस तरीके से stoichiometry वगैरह का लिखते हैं और balancing. So what are the learning objective? The learning objective should be balancing of a chemical equation, stoichiometry and stoichiometry calculation, limiting reagent. These are the learning topics, right? So let's see how will basically balancing of chemical equation takes place, right? So what is balanced chemical reaction, or we say equation? So basically a balanced chemical equation has the same number of atom of each element on both sides of the equation, right? So balanced chemical equation क्या होता है? A balanced chemical equation has the same number of atoms of each element, है ना, दोनों बगल, left hand side and right hand side, that is reactant and product, both side, if they having the same number of atom, then we can say कि this is a balanced chemical equation. Why balancing is necessary? Is there any criteria, or is there any importance कि balancing होना जरूरी है? So why balancing is necessary? So basically the chemical equation needs to be balanced so that it follow the law conservation of mass. That is, what is the law conservation of mass, beta? कि mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, right? Means total mass is conserved in nature. मतलब the mass in the reactant side must be equal to mass of the product side. दोनों बगल mass बराबर होना चाहिए. Now, how to balance a chemical equation? So the best way to balance a chemical equation by hit and trial method, right? This is the best way, that is hit and trial method. For example, if we have C2H6, that is ethane, when ethane is treated with O2, they form CO2 and H2O. Now, start balancing any element, prefer main element by adjusting stoichiometric coefficient, right? So basically main element को prefer करना है. यहाँ पे क्या है? Carbon है main element. So carbon, here we can say that कि यहाँ पे C2H6 है, उधर एक कार्बन है, तो वहां पे 2C लगा दिया, तो कार्बन इज नाउ बैलेंस. नाउ इन स्टेप 2, बैलेंस अदर एलिमेंट विदाउट डिस्टर्बिंग द बैलेंसिंग. ठीक है, बैलेंसिंग ऑफ द प्रीवियसली बैलेंस एलिमेंट. मतलब दूसरे को तो बैलेंस करो, लेकिन कुछ इस तरीके से बैलेंस करो कि दूसरा जो जो ऑलरेडी बैलेंस हो गया है वो डिस्टर्ब ना हो. So now here we have C2H6 and CO2. So here total we have 6 hydrogen. So just multiply by 3. So 3 into 2, again 6 hydrogen. So hydrogen is also balanced. Now repeat the step 2 until all elements are balanced, है ना. तो उसको repeat करते जाना है बार बार जब तक कि सारे atom balance होना जाए. So यहाँ पे already हमने देखा कि we have now how many oxygen we have, that is 2 to the 4 3 7. So 7 oxygen atom in the राइट हैंड साइड. तो 7/2 O2 हमने वहां पे ले लिया. सो नाउ दिस इज अ बैलेंस केमिकल इक्वेशन. तो इस तरीके से हम लोग इसको पूरा बैलेंस कर सकते हैं. सो बैलेंस का क्यों करना जरूरी है? बिकॉज टू फॉलो लॉ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास. एंड सेकेंड, हाउ टू डू बैलेंसिंग? तो बेस्ट वे टू बैलेंस अ केमिकल इक्वेशन बाय हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड, राइट? And this is the balanced oxygen in which carbon is balanced, hydrogen is balanced, and last step oxygen is also balanced. Okay. Now let's see the stoichiometry. That is the quantitative analysis of the balanced chemical reaction is known as stoichiometry, right? If someone asks what do you mean by the stoichiometry, then what you need to say, that is the quantitative analysis of a balanced chemical reaction. कि जो quantitative analysis होता है किसी भी balanced chemical reaction का, that is called stoichiometry. For example, burning of methane. So here we have a CH4, and when the CH4 is treated with O2, then obviously CO2 and 2 mole of H2O will form. Now, what are the stoichiometric observation here? So we can write this equation in the forms of mole. So 1 mole, right? 1 mole of methane react with the 2 mole of O2 to produce 1 mole of CO2 and 2 mole of H2O. Or we can say 1 molecule of CH4 react with 2 molecules of O2 to produce 1 molecule of this, right? So we can also write in this form as well. Next is, we can also write in the terms of gram, that is 16 gram of methane react with 2 into 32 gram of oxygen to produce 44 gram of CO2, to produce 44 gram of CO2 and 2 into 18, that is 36 gram of H2O. So this is how we can write it, right? Let's understand with an example. So we have to calculate the amount of water produced by the combustion of 48 gram of methane. So अगर 48 gram of methane का आप combustion करा रहे हो, right? So what is the amount of water produced? So this is the combustion reaction of methane. Hmm? Now, so we can say now कि this is a balanced chemical equation, that is CH4 plus 2O2 gives us CO2 plus 2H2O. So since from the above reaction we can observe that 16 gram of methane will produce 36 gram of water. So 1 gram produce 36 upon 16. Hmm? Now in this question they are asking, that is calculate the amount of water produced by the A48 gram of methane. So 1 gram produce 36 upon 16. Right. So 48 gram will produce 36 upon 16 into 48 gram of water. It comes out to be 108 gram. Okay. It comes out to be 108 gram. Is this clear? बोलो जल्दी क्लियर है ये क्लियर ओके यस सर क्लियर गुड डन चलो so this is how you can actually calculate okay now this question for you everyone solve it calculate the amount of carbon dioxide that could be produced when the 2 mole of carbon is burned in air 2 mole of carbon is burned in air you have to identify how calculate the amount of carbon dioxide that could be produced कितना amount of CO2 बनेगा जब 2 मोल ऑफ कार्बन को आप बर्न करोगे एवरीवन पता करो जल्दी 2 मोल ओके 88 ग्राम गुड चलो सब सही आंसर दे रहे हैं ऑलमोस्ट चेक कर लेते हैं फटाफट देखो सिंस फ्रॉम द अबव रिएक्शन वी कैन ऑब्जर्व दैट कि 1 मोल ऑफ कार्बन प्रोड्यूस 44 ग्राम ऑफ CO2 सो 2 मोल ऑफ कार्बन प्रोड्यूस 88 ग्राम CO2 इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन राइट सो दिस इज ऑल तो हम लोगों ने काफी इंपॉर्टेंट सोशियोमेट्री स्टार्ट किया लेटर नो इसमें बहुत कुछ अभी और करना है हम लोगों को सो इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास बेसिकली वी आर गोइंग टू नो सी ऑल द इंपॉर्टेंट कैलकुलेशन रिलेटेड टू दिस चैप्टर सो टिल यू रिवाइज यहाँ तक आप सबको रिवाइज करना है दैट इज empirical formula, molecular formula, stoichiometric calculation, percentage composition. So this is what we study in today class, how to find molecular mass and all this thing. Right. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Now I'm going to launch a poll here. You need to fill this poll, everyone.